Hello and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 2. This is the Heir of Carthage, and I am playing in a 3v3. This was a really epic battle we had on my multiplayer stream on Friday night. I do stream a couple of nights a week under most circumstances, though, to be fair, this upcoming week is a holiday week, so probably not twice this next week, but maybe. It depends whether or not I can do it early. But in any case, we had some fun. We were doing a game 1 versus game 2 because we'd been discussing game 3. That's right. We'd been watching replays from game 3, talking about the mechanics for the Nurgle campaign, which that blog came out. If you all want to go back and rewatch the stream, you can see it. But yeah, this one's going to be, like I said, a game 1 versus game 2. I am on the team that is playing Game 1 factions, and I am going to bring in the Ever-Chosen. I figured this would be fun for a couple of reasons. One, because Game 3 is all about chaos, and two, I had that epic Archaeon campaign on my channel. I don't know if any of you all watched that one, but it was really fun and seemed to be quite popular. And so I'm going to play as Archaeon. He is right behind the Mirror Guard, and then I've got 4 Chaos Warriors, a few Marauder Horsemen, and some Knights with Lances, so I'm kind of on a Knights theme here with Archaeon, and then I've got a teammate playing as the Vampires with a row of zombies, a row of skeletons, Necromancer, Corpse Cart with Unholy Lodestone. We do have Heinrich Kemmler here, a couple of Cairn Wraiths, and we're going to have the Chillgeist Hex Wraiths, and then 2 Vargulfs. So a pretty nice goon squad there for Kemmler's vampire counts. And then we're going to have Skarsnik back here with a Night Goblin Shaman. And then we're going to have some Night Gobbo Fanatics in a line, some Night Goblin Archers, then just some Goblins and more Night Goblins and Skulkers. And then there's some Squig Hoppers hidden with some Wolf Riders far off in the woods. And as for our opponents from Game 2, we're going to see the Lizardmen. They are led by Krokgar, and he is supported by a Skink Priest, Lore of Beast. Going to have the Flock of Doom available to him. A front line is going to be mixed Saurus and Red-Crested Skinks. So that's a little bit of high damage and good AP. They are backed up by a couple of Skaven allies here. There's going to be some Warp Fire Throwers. These units will do tremendous damage to anything that gets into the gaps. There are a couple of Bastillodons with Solar Engines that are going to be providing some ranged fire support. They are backed up by some Skaven Slaves through here, and then ultimately we're going to get to some Meteor Skaven Infantry. We're going to have some Storm Vermin with Sword and Shield, the Blight Scabs Plague Pack here, Censer Bearers. We're going to have a Plague Priest, and some more Storm Vermin back here, the Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers. They're actually going to be led by Tretch Craventail, and he's going to be supported with some big boy support from this Chieftain on the Bone Breaker there. And then for the rest of the Lizards, there are 3 Chameleon Skinks wide right, and then in the back, we do have a Warp Lightning Cannon guarded by some Skaven Slave Spears. And yes, Alariel the Radiant is no longer Radiant. She's Alariel the Ratiant, as she has joined with the Skaven here. And Alariel has brought all the bows of Avalorn to her cause. So yes, let's take a look. She's going to have some Lothern Sea Guards with shields, some Sisters of Avalorn. Even out here, we've got the Everqueen's Court Guards, so these emerald green variants, or sea green variant of the the Sisters of Avalorn. And then just some standard archers, so it's all archers for the High Elves, and then Alariel for support. So let's hit the play button here, kind of see what happens. From the get-go, we were going to be outranged because we have the Vampires and Chaos. Neither one of us really has any range, and the Greenskins only brought a very limited amount of range. So we have to attack, and there's really no point in me trying to take a wide flank because we'll just open ourselves up to even more attack. So I'm going to try and take the front and hope that the Vampire can maybe collapse the left. So I don't know that my troops are going to perform very well. I forgot I had a couple Forsaken too, one on each flank, just to have a little bit of speed and damage dealing. I come under heavy fire. Krokgar hit me with his magic shotgun, and so I sent a fireball back at him. So Krok and Archaeon trading some shots early and some vicious combat up front. My Chaos Warriors should do okay against Saurus Warriors, maybe even against Red-Crested Skinks because they don't have a whole lot of armor to back that up. Forsaken, again, should do okay, but the problem is I think we're going to get overrun. My Chaos line is 1 rank deep, and there are multiple rows of enemy infantry and support. Look how bad the Mirror Guard gets absolutely shredded by that Warp Fire thrower. I had no idea it would be that bad, or else I would have been far more careful. But I ended up trying to pull it back and reposition. But that's probably just going to give the warp fire throwers another chance to fire here. Yeah, we got absolutely decimated by the warp fire thrower. So that thing basically turned out and paid for itself in its first 2 volleys. And the infantry lines are joined, and my vampire ally is going to have some overwhelming numbers there on the left flank, so that's looking good. My line just needs to hold until we can get back up from the goblins. I'm attempting to do that. This would have been a pretty good place right here for a burning head, but instead I decided to push my cavalry and Archaeon far to the left flank and attempt to try and get a burning head here on the archers. And I did get in range, or no, sorry, that's the Wind of Death from the vampires. I was getting ready to say I didn't think I was in range yet. So the vampires saw it. Wind of Death didn't get there in time. I also see all these archers, and I really want to make a big target out of them with the burning head, but I've got to get a lot closer with Archaeon before I can do it. So my Chaos Warriors did okay, all things considered here. Some of them are still fighting even. So, I mean, they've done what I needed them to do, which is last until the goblins get here, at least at this point. The vampires are doing well in their fight, and they've got a lot of enemy troops bogged down here, and then their goon squad should be able to get in and start causing some pretty significant damage. Kimmler came around here with the Chillgeist, looking to break through. He's going to have to be careful because there's a lot of magic arrows here. The Chillgeist could get absolutely melted. Speaking of melted, I saw some archers in the Blightscab's Plague Pack, and so I threw a burning head. The Plague Pack managed to dodge it just in the nick of time. They almost got wrecked there too. But I did take down a Sisters of Avalorn and a Lothern Sea Guard with that, and did some decent damage. So Archaeon making his presence on the battlefield known. And then here comes Kimmler's Goon Squad. So now we can pressure the big ball of High Elf archers. Let's go take a look at a couple of other fights. You can see over here, Archaeon making for the flank, the Cairn Wraiths working on some Saurus warriors, and the vampires, like I said, ultimately did pretty good over here, though they don't have a great answer at the moment to the Plague Priest and the Chieftain. He's backed up by some Storm Vermin, but we are going to see a Curse of Bad Moon here from the Goblins. That's not too bad. Like, it does some decent damage there, plus we got the Loonies coming through, so nice support from Skarsnik. Skarsnik looks like he wants to take a shot at Alariel, but he is going to come under some extremely heavy missile fire here. You can see most of my Chaos Infantry is now gone, but the Goblin Infantry has now come up the left flank of our enemy, our right flank. Kimmler getting chased by Krokgar, and he takes a nasty hit there. My Chaos Knights are trying to plow through and get to those Warp Fire throwers. I don't want to allow them to continue to operate. That actually allows Kimmler to get away. Unfortunately for me, my Knights with Lances are probably going to get bogged down in that fight and never be able to get out. But we were able to get rid of the Warp Fire throwers. Some more Knights with Lances. And then it looks like I'm trying to set up another burning head back here across this delicious ball of archers. And it's going to do some pretty decent damage, flowing across multiple archer units. So that's going to be Archaeon's second burning head. And he's up to 126 kills. And some of that is on some very expensive Sisters of Avalorn. Skarsnik is still alive, managed to get away from some of the missile fire. A few of my troops are coming back from routing, so I'm going to keep pulling them back in. And let's see over here, we've got some Goblin Infantry, some Skulkers that have worked their way around. I got my Jav Cav. I'm bringing it in. I'm just bringing anything in I can to harass this ball of archers. If we can kill these High Elf archers, that would be huge, like absolutely huge. Got the Plague Pack that's chasing Archaeon here, but Archaeon wants a piece of Alariel. In fact, he's going to come in and use a Slayer of Kings, but she just gets knocked around so much that the Slayer of Kings actually ends up being of little consequence. See Kimmler in here mixed up with the Plague Priest. Does have a Necromancer, not a very strong unit. We can see Krokgar coming into that fight too, so Kimmler is going to want to get away from that. Again, trying to keep some pressure up on these archers. The Goblin Infantry is absolutely critical right now. They have been a huge piece of trying to minimize what these archers can do, but we are starting to get overwhelmed from a few sides. I finally caught that Blightscab Plague Pack with the Burning Head. Did some very nice damage to it. I'm up to 220 kills with Archaeon, so he is doing quite well. Burning Head's going to come over. Yeah, it's going to catch just a little bit of damage here in this archer unit, so nice. Got even a little bit of extra value out of that one. A long-range Burning Head, but Archaeon is dodging for his life. He's being shot at. and I have to be careful. Like, I want to go help against Krotgar. I decide to stop and attack the Skink Priest. I am able to get some good hits in on the Skink Priest, but again, we're under a lot of missile fire, and my team has desperately got to get rid of some key targets. Krotgar starts to get completely overwhelmed here by the 2 Vargulfs. He's going to use his explosive ability to try and get away, but he ends up routing. So he just got buried in vampires right there and was not able to dig his way out. And then Alarielle looks like she took a route right there as well. And then I had to run away with Archaeon. He was under heavy archer fire, and I'm having to jink and dodge and run him back to the woods to keep him from dying. He doesn't have much magic left, maybe enough left for like a fireball or something. But we've gotten 3 burning heads and a fireball off so far. So there's only going to be so much left he can do. Back here you can see that the Skaven Chieftain, Tretch Craventail, are kind of wreaking havoc on all of our troops that are coming back from routing. And then Skarsnik just got schemed there by the Bonebreaker. So that's going to be the end of Skarsnik and his claim on Karak 8 Peaks. Yeah, it is a close battle, very close right now. These archers are all still alive. Like, there's a big chunk of them, and they have a lot of ammo. This is going to be a huge threat. And I'm just kind of desperation charging Marauder Horsemen in here, trying to kill some of them, but Krotgar gets a nice intercept, and I get terror routed. And then these other ones, I just wasn't able to control them in time to get them around Krotgar and into this infantry pile. And so it just ends up being a throwaway there for me. But I mean, like I said, this is a very close fight. These archers could play a critical role in the late game. We do have some Squig Hoppers and Wolf Riders. They're coming back. Some of my Marauder Horsemen managed to live going past Krotgar, and this is going to give the Wolf Riders a charge here. Wolf Riders, Marauder Horsemen, but here comes some Knights with Lances, so a little bit more weight, because those Sisters of Avalorn would actually fight pretty good against these light armor units, as long as they don't take too much charge damage. So once again, we're getting a ton of pressure onto all the archers. Some Squig Hoppers coming in too. Going to be a banishment that pops up here. I managed to cycle some of my cavalry out of the way. Again, Archaeon's just kind of hiding safe for the moment, because I don't want to get him killed early and help the power bar go in favor of our enemies. Going to get one more charge maybe here with my Knights with Lances and my Marauder Horsemen and just attempt to get in here. We want to do all the damage we can do. Any archer we kill and take away its ammo is potentially game-saving for us. But at the same time, you can see there's going to be a lot of archers left. There's a lot of Sisters and plenty of Sea Guard in there, and they're not going to go down easy to anything that we're throwing at them in melee right now. We would need like some really monstrous single entity. Now, the Vampire Goon Squad has managed to survive because of the help of this Unholy Lodestone. It gives extra healing, and the Necromancer should as well. And then the Banshee just has not come up against a lot of magic melee damage, so the Banshee is actually in really good health too. Remember, Banshee does armor-piercing damage. So it could be potentially critical here. The Vargulfs are going to charge in. They do heal. They're going to take a lot of damage on the way in. That was my last fireball. It managed to tag Alarielle, which is exactly what I had hoped. So she is now very low on hit points. My goal was to hopefully get her out. The vampires get a nice zombie summon here, and that is really going to do some damage in these archers. Is that an Amber Spear? Not sure what I heard there from the skink. No, it wasn't Amber Spear. This is just the spell going off. The Warpfire Throwers are back here, and you can see one Vargulf is starting to take a lot of damage. A Warpfire Thrower is going to do pretty tremendous damage to anything, just anything basically, especially something that doesn't have much armor like the Vargulf. So that Warpfire Thrower is a bit of a problem, and it's about to be backed up by a Plague Priest. You can see the Corpse Cart slowly making its way in. Archaeon, I'm using him to kind of pick on archer units, and as soon as one turns to try and shoot me, I charge into the other. Alarielle can't really protect them. Even though Archaeon is quite low here, he's still going to be able to do some damage. He's up to 242 kills. These are expensive archer units, so a good opportunity for me. I just need to buy my vampire teammate time to help me route stuff, and then these goblin reinforcements are coming back into the fight and could be really clutch for us here. But it is still a very, very tight fight. Alarielle now down under 300 hit points. See the Croc here running away. He's down to 800 hit points. Archaeon down to 900. So this fight is gonna come down to the wire, folks. It's been one of the best ones I've had in a very long time in terms of close team battles. And I'm not going to spoil the ending. It's a good one, so just keep watching. So the goblins there almost took a big tear-shaped breath attack from the Plague Priest, but not quite. That Plague Priest, though, I don't see any reason why he shouldn't be able to stop the Corpse Cart. But the Corpse Cart heals, and it's just going to take a long time. And that's going to potentially work in favor of my team here. As you can see, reinforcements headed that way. And now that the goblins can chase off the archers this way and that, we're going to be able to get in here and start beating down on this chieftain. But again, I'm going to have to be careful with Archaeon. I brought him in, I have not brought in, yeah, I did bring in Archaeon, at least I thought I did. Yeah, here he is. And I got in, and I ended up against the chieftain when that wasn't what I had wanted. I was trying to attack the Plague Priest. The chieftain manages to land a pretty big hit on me, and then I was telling Archaeon to retreat. Like, see here, he's got a movement order, but then it stops right here. I thought I had clicked further, and Archaeon gets hit again, and he's down under 300 hit points, and so now I'm just desperately running from this chieftain. I'm faster than he is, but the chieftain could potentially get charge speed here or there, and that plays a big role. Tretch is becoming difficult to kill. Unfortunately for me, my vampire teammate sees what's going on here, and he's going to try and help me out of this. If I run this way, I'm going to run into archers. If I run back this way, I'm going to run into chameleon skinks and Skaven infantry. I really probably should have been heading for this forest right here to try and get away with Archaeon. But there's... yeah, it seemed like I had no good place to go. By the time I got here, I realized how close I was to those chameleon skinks. So I'm just trying to work my way in just about every direction. I'm down to 278 hit points, but we just got a good bunch of hits there from Heinrich and his goon squad, and the chieftain is now pretty much toast, which leaves just Tretch and a very bruised Kroq-Gar in the background. But there are still some arrows here for the other team, and I got hit right there by the chameleon skinks, so down to about 200 hit points. And at this point I tried to run, but it's too late. I've gotten Archaeon killed. He's going to go down. So the Ever-Chosen is going to be ever dead here very shortly. He can only withstand maybe one more volley, and that one came in from the Sisters. It's down to 39 hit points. And that's going to be it, folks. That's all she wrote. The Sisters of Avalorn finally took down their victim. So there goes the Ever-Chosen, and let's go see my vampire teammate can pull this off. I got a little bit worried here because there are a fair number of archers left. Vargulfs are low armor. Heinrich Kimmler is pretty low armor. The Banshee, however, is going to be pretty resistant to most everything except for the Sisters, who fire magic ammunition. As long as the Banshee doesn't start getting wrecked, we did get a zombie summon there, which is going to be super handy, as it shields a lot of the other units. But again, a lot of archer fire coming in. But the power bar has not backed up for us. I think it's almost too, as these units start to expend their ammunition, the power bar actually starts to favor us more, because then these units aren't as threatening. You can see the chieftain's coming back with his Bonebreaker, and then Kroq-Gar is lined up outside of here, maybe waiting for an opportunity. Tretch finally got skitter fled from the fight here, as he just couldn't handle the vampire puppies and their Banshee. You can see Kroq-Gar doesn't want any of that either. He's going to use Swiftness of Eitzel to run away from that situation. He's kind of just playing bait here at this point. And as the archers continue to expend their ammunition, they are able to basically get one of the Vargulfs out here, but they've got another one, and their ammunition is going to be fairly limited, and now the goblin archers are back up here too. Kroq-Gar is going to have to watch out for that. He's down to 118 hit points, so it is very, very close at this point, but it's definitely swinging in favor of the Game 1 factions here. Thank you very much to the help of my teammates. I did what I could up the middle, but it definitely left the battle in their hands later on. Although I do feel like I dealt a couple of good blows, I was definitely dependent on my teammates to try and finish this one. And it's certainly starting to look like they can. It's just at this point, the amount of ammunition left does not appear to be significant enough. And then with the Banshee still alive, Tretch is not going to do well against the Banshee. The Plague Priest does magic damage, but with only 81 hit points left, probably not enough to swing against the Banshee. So it is just looking good at this point, and it's going to end up being a very tight victory for my team and the Game 1 factions, and what I thought was a pretty entertaining battle. I hope you all enjoyed it as well. Archaeon was pretty much the set piece for my team. He brought in about 5,000 damage value, and was really the only unit on my team that really played well. As for the vampires, it was really the Vargulfs for the MVPs. Look at this one, 2807. and then 3120 there. So some excellent work by Slayer Slade here. And then Ghost King, his was actually kind of spread out widely across his massive goblin army. So not one of his units got a ton, but it was definitely spread. Though this one Squig Hopper did pretty darn well here at 1114. That is pretty respectable. Nero on the High Elf side, his High Elf archers, I think only one or two of them, like this one right here, pulled off some pretty nice damage. But not enough of them pulled off enough damage to be able to swing the tide, but it was pretty well split between all of his units. It was a lot of damage dealt, but split between a lot of those units. The Gentle Rat here, I love that his name is the Gentle Rat, and he brings Tretch Craventail of Clan Rictus, who is quite possibly the most gentle rat in the game. But actually pretty good performance from Tretch. He's not a very expensive unit. Then a really nice performance off that Chieftain, and then the same with the Plague Priest. So pretty impressive. And then the Blight Scab Plague Pack here, picking up almost 2,000. And a pretty solid performance here out of the Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers as well. And then Myrmidian Templar here with Crockguard did an excellent job, over 3,000 damage inflicted, or value inflicted. Really nice with the Solar Engine here as well. So some nice play by everybody who joined, and I do appreciate all of them joining. If you want to see me stream, keep an eye out on my YouTube channel. I schedule them, as soon ahead of time as I can. Sometimes I'll be able to schedule them further out than others, but I also announce it on my Discord and my Twitter, so feel free to follow me on either one of those if you choose to. But the streams do happen here on YouTube, and we'd love to have you join us. It's very open, very social. We'll help newer players learn how to play if they need to, so it's not something you need to worry about. Or just come and watch us play. You don't have to join. We'd love to have you there. And of course, all of those will be on my channel, so you can watch them afterwards if you are not able to make it live, because I know my live time is not going to be good for everybody. Well, appreciate you watching. If you found that you liked this video, please take the moment to go click that like button. If you would like to see more, you're free to subscribe. There's a subscribe button on the screen. You can click it, and if you want to be notified, you can click the bell and hope that YouTube is kind enough to send you notifications. Anyway, HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I'll see you all next time with some more Total War action.